Alright guys, today we are going to look at congruent figures. So our goal today is to be able to identify congruent figures and their corresponding parts. So what we need to know here is two figures are congruent when one can be obtained from the other by a rigid motion. Congruent figures have the same size and shape. Okay, so when we're looking at these examples here, it asks you to tell whether the two figures are congruent and explain. So if I'm looking at A, I can see that these are not congruent because they are not the same size. Okay, if I look at B, these are congruent because they're the same size and shape. Okay, C, okay, these are the same shape, but they're different sizes. So the answer would be no. And then the last one, we can see those are the same shape and the same size, so that would be yes. All right, so here, this one says, suppose you copied quadrilateral ABCD above and moved the copy so that it fit exactly on quadrilateral PQRS. Complete these statements to show which vertices correspond. Okay, so if I'm looking at my pieces, okay, I can see that A should match with R, B should match with S, C corresponds to P, and D corresponds to Q. Okay, so the notation AB with the line segment above AB, okay, represents that we're talking about that side length, okay, that line segment. Okay, the symbol, okay, means congruent. So we want to complete the statement to show which pairs of sides in the two quadrilaterals are congruent. So if I'm looking at side AB here, okay, I can see that side AB, okay, is going to be the same as side RS. Okay, so when I write that, okay, I need to include that line above to show I'm talking about the line segment. Okay, BC, okay, we can see BC matches with SP. And I'll do that here. Okay, the smaller side there, CD, matches with PQ. And then that last one, DA, matches with QR. Okay, to the same, we can look at angles. Okay, so the notation there means angle. And we're going to compare which angles are congruent. Okay, so angle A, okay, angle A, I'll do this in black here, okay, should match with angle R. Okay, angle B, okay, would match with angle S. Okay, angle C matches with angle P. Okay, and that last one, angle D, would match with angle Q. Okay, for the sides, you might see this in a picture notated with lines. So to mark sides congruent, I would say AB had matched with RS, so they both have one tick mark there, right? BC, I'll put 2 on BC, so SP would also have 2, right? CD, I'll put 3. Here I'll put 3. Okay, so angles, in a picture, they use those angle markers, and sides, they use the tick mark. For the notation, we use the line above or the angle with the congruent symbol in between. All right, so let's look at a figure. So here it tells us the two figures are congruent, and we want to name the corresponding sides and angles. All right, so looking here, I'm going to start with my angles. So angle A is congruent to angle D. Angle B is congruent to angle E. And angle C is congruent to angle F. Okay, when we're looking at sides, okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say side AB is congruent to side DE. Side BC is congruent to side EF. And side CA is congruent to side FD. Okay, so we were just making our way around that shape, matching sides. All right, same thing here with this quadrilateral. If I was going to compare angles, I could see angle G is congruent to angle K. Angle H is congruent to angle L. Angle I is congruent to angle M. Angle J is congruent to angle N. Okay, comparing sides, we're going to do the same thing going around the shape. So GH, starting on the top, would be congruent to KL. HI would be congruent to LM. IJ is congruent to MN. And then JG is congruent, pardon, to NK. Okay, when we are looking at congruent figures, the order in which we write the letters matters. So in this example, they said triangle DOG is congruent to triangle CAT. So when I'm comparing my pieces here, the first letter is going to match with the first letter of the second one. So angle D is going to be congruent to angle C. Okay, the second one will match with the second one. So angle O is congruent to angle A. And then the third one, angle G, is congruent to angle T. Okay, I could do the same thing looking at the sides. The first two are going to match with the first two. So DO is congruent to CA. Okay, then I can look at the next two. OG will match with AT. right? And the third one is going to be the first and the last, GD with TC. Okay, here it says identify the congruent triangles in the coordinate plane. So again, we're looking for triangles that are the same shape and same size. So here I can see this triangle here that I outlined in red will match with this triangle here, which is also outlined in red. So again, we need to make sure we're matching the letters in order when we write this. So triangle PMN is congruent to triangle. So I started at the top here. So I'm going to start at the top, FDE. Okay, there's another set of congruent triangles here. I'll color these ones in green. Okay, so those green triangles also happen to be congruent. So if I write these ones out, I'm going to do triangle BAC is congruent to triangle. Again, here I want to match the letters. So I can see B should correspond with angle K. So it's going to go K. A is where the right angle is formed. So that's at J. And then the last would be L. Okay, so making sure we're paying attention to the order. All right, that is it for notes for today. So make sure you have everything written down. You can put your notes away and check the agenda for what to do next.